In animation, colorful rounded fabric squares converge, spiraling upward. Ability Summit.
Jenny Lay-Flurrie, Chief Accessibility Officer. She has blonde hair and glasses. She's wearing a gray t-shirt with a woman in a wheelchair. She holds up signs in either hand reading, "Yes, I can."
First with me here in the studio, KR Liu, Head of Brand Accessibility.
KR has blonde hair and is wearing a gray jacket.
And Claudia Gordon, Senior Accessibility Strategist at a similar...
Claudia has red hair, glasses, and a black t-shirt.
Both of whom have worked all over the industry, have an incredible amount of experience and expertise. So we're going to dig in really quickly. KR, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Tell us a little bit. How did you get into accessibility and what keeps you here? What's your driving function?
Yeah, so I got into accessibility as someone who has severe hearing loss. I was looking at ways to bring more socially acceptable and affordable hearing technology to the market. And so I really advocated in the tech industry over many years to help push for more affordable and accessible hearing. I was very involved in the Over-the-Counter Hearing Aid Act of 2017, which this past October is now in your typical retail store. So that was a huge moment for me. But now my role at Google as the head of brand accessibility, my role is to really bring a disabled lens into how Google's brand talks about product, talks about storytelling, and it represents disabled people authentically, and also talks about how we can bring more accessible content into the world and how people engage with our material. So it's been quite a ride, and I really love what I do. I really love amplifying incredible disabled leaders and talking about the impact that they've had on society.
It's incredible. And I have to now throw to Claudia, who's joining us remotely from DC. Claudia, how did you, I know trying to synthesize your career into a small thing is going to be a feat, but how did you get into this and what keeps you grounded?
Wow. Well, this is Claudia here. You know, I really can't help but look back where upon a time I was an outcast child in a very, very small rural Jamaican town on the island of Jamaica. And the reason I was an outcast at the time is because I was deaf. And I really have to thank my amazing late mother and her resiliency in pursuing a better life for me, better for me at the time as a deaf child. And at the time I moved to New York, the South Bronx specifically, where life improved. Of course, was not perfect, but definitely better. And it was not long after that that I discovered the disability advocacy movement through the New York chapter of the National Black Deaf Advocates. It was very new at the time, still trying to figure out my identity. I became deaf when I was 8 years old, and it was a struggle at the time. And after I graduated from high school, I moved to Washington, D.C. to enroll in Howard University. And there I was immediately forced to master self-advocacy because I was denied ASL interpreters for my classes. And that was around 1991, same time as the ADA regulations were being drafted. With that, it led me to discover the cross-disability civil rights, and I was able to meet people like the father of the ADA, Justin Dart, the beloved Judy Human, of course, who we all know as the mother of disability civil rights movement, Yoshiko Dart, many others who were in the movement, and they all really embraced me. They were able to give me a table like I hadn't seen before, and their beliefs in me were really so transformative for how I viewed myself. I knew then at that time that this is the work that I was destined to do. And because of them being able to offer me, I really had no choice but to take that on in my journey and open the door subsequently for others and for many, many more generations who are able to run, walk, crawl, or dance through that door. So I take that on personally.
Wow. Well, as you can tell, we've got a wealth of experience here. And I know y'all have been influenced by some amazing people over the years. One of those was Judy Human. And I know that we're actually recording this the day before. We were planning to be live. We're actually recording it the day before. I know Claudia will be in person at the services today. tell us a little bit. What influence, what impact did she have on your lives? What made her, what did she do? How did she challenge your career, your aspirations?
Yeah, I mean, I was honored to know Judy, call her a dear friend, mentor, and the way that she impacted me. You know, we talked often, and she always was pushing that next generation of disability leaders, really wanted to advocate for us so that we could continue her legacy on. And she always was someone who would talk to anybody and everybody. She was incredibly warm and inviting, welcoming, but she really wanted you, every time there was a moment and opportunity, to have influence, to have impact, to say something, to speak up, to go for it. And she really pushed me to do that. And she was an incredible influence in my life and will continue to be. And for so many of us have been impacted by her loss, but I know that we will all continue her legacy forward.
Claudia.
Yeah, you know, it's a really tough loss for our community and the world at large, for me personally as well. Judy as a person was a good friend, a mentor, almost like a mother figure or a big sister. Someone had asked me recently, actually it was yesterday, I think, when I met her, and I honestly couldn't recall. I think it was around 1990 or in the 90s, but I really can't remember my life without her. How she influenced me, the impact she had on me. I think she recognized my potential, and she saw something in me all throughout. She was able to teach me really the importance of using my voice, my individual voice, and being able to take up space and show up in these spaces. I would say what really struck me about Judy is she is a better person, not just because of her advocacy, but also just the warmth she carried. She was so personal, so approachable with people. The authenticity and the aura that she put out there were really paramount. And she was just creating so many genuine connections and was always looking for people in the community that she could connect with one another. Always wanting to elevate the cause was her, always wanting to open up more doors for people, doors of opportunity. And I've learned so much from her wisdom, from her patience. I apply it to my job each and every day, including here at T-Mobile. And this work, you know, it's humbling doing this work, as both know. Some days it is really tough. It's a privilege, but it is really tough. And I think that learning from her journey, I have no choice but to continue on in those tough moments, continue on with the cause. And yeah, I think I'm I'm heartbroken right now over it. It's very tough to talk about her and who she was.
You know, I think listening to you both, I think there's something so powerful, and there's many of us, we've had lots of conversations about Judy in the last few days, about the connection she gave and the mentorship. And even though we've been in accessibility, all of us, like a long time, doesn't mean it's easy.
No, not at all.
It's hard. Mm-hmm. And in fact, some of the best things come from that journey. I think there's lessons there in how to mentor, speak to. I'd want anyone to come up to UKR and say, hey, I need something. And I know they do, by the way, because of who you all are. But let's, thank you for going there with that. Mm-hmm. But let's pivot a little bit to the future. How do we take from that? How do we go to that future? And you think about people listening today. We got 20,000 on this conference today from over 100 countries. What do you want them to know? If they're listening to you, you have amazing positions. What advice would you give to them thinking about a career in accessibility? What would you want them to know? And I'll go to Claudia first. Claudia, what do you want people to know? Try and synthesize it down.
Ooh, okay. Well, I think that really what's important, there's a quote from Martin Luther King Jr. that I always remember: injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. I try to keep in mind, it's up to us to be the change that we want to see in the world. we really have to be in this cause and in this fight for the long haul. It's really important that we do it, really until all technologies are accessible, usable, for everyone, and as well, until our disability is not reason for us to be denied employment that we otherwise would be qualified for. Until individuals with disabilities can live in the community with the services and supports that they need and thrive. Until we are not disproportionately impacted by natural or man-made disasters or emergencies, and until we, folks with disabilities, are more than just a footnote and are not having to face these struggles. So, last, I like to say, I have a friend, Liz Weintraub, and she would often say, until all means all. And I think that in mind, we have so much work to do, and just having to carry forward Judy's legacy, that in mind.
Toya, KR, what would you say to folks?
I really want to talk to the disabled creatives out there. This is an opportunity and moment to really continue to push forward your creative, continue to push forward your talent. There's a huge movement happening in the creative industry, especially for disabled creatives. And I'm excited to see brands really thinking about how to include disability representation in front of the camera, behind the camera, in the creative room, when you're thinking about the brief and the story you want to tell. Keep pushing forward, because I really believe that there's going to be a new lane of opportunity for those who really want to get into this industry. So I'm excited about that, and I want you to keep pushing forward.
Push forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Tanya.
Thank you, Claudia. And folks, these are people that you should be following if you're not already. These are people that you can learn from. They influence me. KR knows this, but I adore both of you. And I just thank you so much for being here today and walking us. I know, I love you too, darling. We're going to pivot. And if I add one ad to the end of this, accessibility's cool, get in it. But let's get going and start moving to the next part of our session. Right now, it is time to send you to your first 2 rounds of breakout sessions. Deepen your knowledge of how to imagine, build, and include. We have a lot of show ahead, a panel on how everyone can learn from deaf culture. It's the coolest culture. Get in it. And the latest in accessibility for developers. And there's even more after the main show ends. So Microsoft folks, please stick around. It's our internal gig, sorry, but this is just for us, just to wallow in some of the great work that's happening within the company. We will be doing that right afterwards. All coming up. This is the Ability Summit 2023.
Thank you for participating. There's more to experience. Explore other content experiences in the top navigation bar. In animation, an L-shaped curve of rounded fabric squares undulates softly.